Hey everyone, I am Kim Beegler, owner of Ewethful Fiber Farm and Mill, and I am here at the mill today getting ready to do something that I don't have to do too often, but I am going to clean out, the inside of the wash tub here at the mill. So for those of you that are new, I own a wool mill. I talk a lot about wool. I talk a lot about wool, processing wool, hand spinning wool, knitting, sewing, sourdough. I mean, what else, right? We have a farm, we have farm animals, and we are also commercial grass seed farmers. So all sorts of things to talk about. And if you're coming back, thank you. I appreciate you. Okay, so I'm not going to make you watch this whole thing, but I am going to first grab some gloves. All right, gloves have been grabbed. So I use them just because I'm not that great at gripping. And to get this out, you gotta kind of have a good grip. So here is the inside of the tub. And I am going to be just coming in, I'll pull, since I'm here, I'm gonna pull any like wool that is stuck to the bottom here. The main reason I am doing this is because I just washed up mohair and it's got little guard hairs in it. And sometimes those guard hairs will get caught up, especially right in here as the water goes up and down. And we don't want the guard hairs to move into the next fiber. So I'm just going to wipe the inside of it out. Really, I can just use my hand with this glove and I just wipe the inside of it out. Other things probably have gotten stuck along the way too. Not too bad. And I will kind of rinse out the bottom of this. I'll let you see inside there. And then that's all there is to it. Then we put it back together. And it's not too bad. It's been a while since I've done this. Just wool and stuff gets stuck to the edges. And it's just a good time. This is the underbelly of owning a wool mill. There is always something that can be cleaned more. And I keep the mill pretty clean because I hate to walk into a messy situation. But this episode, I don't know what the heck we're gonna be doing. What I'm cleaning this out for is so that I can wash some of my Shetland wool. Actually my favorite. I'm gonna let you, ooh, see there's some gunk stuck in there. Let's take a peek in here. And hopefully my tripod is on its last legs. So trying to be kind to it, but there's inside. Go in a little closer and you can see, so I'm gonna drain that water out, which I usually, if I haven't used this for a while, I'll go ahead and try to drain all the water out in the machine because it's just, you know, gunky, been sitting there, it's cold. And I think what I'll do, but this is like a nice big chunk that was just sitting, who knows what that is. And there's some other stuff in here. So I think what I'll do is grab my vacuum out down here real quick just to have it nice and clean. And then we'll carry on with some washing. All right, so you can see much cleaner. I kind of wiped down. There was a nice ring about where the water line comes to. That was pretty gunky. Wiped out down here, cleaned everything out, gave it a good vacuum. So we are ready to go ahead and put the tub back on. And whoop. And then we'll be ready to wash this Shetland. And I'm trying to not have our tripod break right now, but it may. Okay, always the awkward part is watching me get this back on. All right, I'm coming in behind you here and pulling this up. Oh my goodness. If Mitch is ever around, when he's ever around, I always try to pawn this off on him, but this is not one of those days. So I have the gloves on because I have to grip in the middle, and my grip, I don't want to get my fingers caught in there, so this just helps my grip. And I've just got to line up where my screws are at, screw everything back in, and we have a nice clean washer, and we're ready to start on some Shetland. So I really only do that if I'm washing, most of the time it's if I'm washing something with known guard hairs, so as far as like alpaca. Now, if it was like a California red fleece, something like that, where there's a lot of those little guard hairs in there, I would do this also. So I try to be mindful about when I'm kind of, just like when I'm processing stuff like that through the mill equipment, when I'm washing it, it's nice to do a bunch of big batches of stuff with guard hair, so it's less, you know, you're like not as concerned if there's a little crossover, because all the things you're working on have that anyway. So, okay, I'm gonna pause us, go get the fleece, and we're gonna start washing up Johnny Rose, who is my absolute favorite fleece of our Shetlands. It used to be Andy, but Johnny Rose is younger now and so has taken up his place. Okay, we are at the washer with Johnny's fleece. I'm gonna hold it up so you can kind of get a good idea of what it looks like. He has got this beautiful crimp. He's a really, really light morit. He's got a beautiful crimp to him. Here's just one, like a beautiful example of his fleece. Gorgeous, really nice handle to it. And I'm gonna put gloves on because I did cold soak this fleece. I'll talk about that in a sec. Anyway, between that light morit color, and you can see there's some chunks of light brown in here, and he is lighter than Andy, who is also morit and had a beautiful finer wool fleece. And Andy still actually puts out gorgeous fleeces, but this fleece is unreal. I have a couple of them. His two first fleeces I have set aside for me, which I plan to do blend with Cuttlebug. But what was I going to get back to, y'all? I forgot. Cold soaking, that's it. So I did, this is actually his fleece from, I can't remember. I believe this is a full year fleece. Sorry, I can't remember when that means we shore him, but it's not the most recent shearing we did. Probably November. Nope, that doesn't make sense. It would have been last, I don't know, you all. This may not be a full year. I'm not quite sure. But given the weight, I would say it is. So it probably would have been spring of 2024 fleece. So I have had it skirted and tucked away in the wash this soon pile. And it did have a fair amount of just build up on it as far as dirt. So I did a cold soak on it. I put it in last night into a tub, just used tap water outside, you know, from my hose, not like any filtered or special water, and let it sit overnight in hopes that it would break up. And there was a lot, it was some brown water. So now we're at the mill and I'm just gonna wash it as I normally would. I'm just kind of opening it up a bit and getting it ready for a wash. So we'll go ahead and do that. And at home, you know, if you don't want your stuff in lock structure, you know, if you're gonna comb, it might be different. You might wanna process your fleeces different than this, but if you're just going to card or hand card, however it may be, opening up your fleeces is one really good way of being sure that the soap is able to get through the wool. So if you're having trouble at home getting fleeces clean, depending on, again, how you want to process it, this can be a great way to make cleaning more efficient. So I'm just going to go through, open it up, and then my washer will do a wash cycle and 2 rinse cycles. And the wash cycle is probably, I think it's about 15 minutes from the time the soap is in and water is in to when it starts to drain. And then it will go ahead and do, you can see it. I'll show you the dirt. You can see the dirt, and this is after a cold soak. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see, but there's some dirt in there. But it's nice and loose now. That would have all been trying to come out, and I had a whole bucket of it at home, right? That would have all been trying to come out in this washer. So it's nice to just get that up, and it loosens all the dirt up, right? So it's like soaking your pot at home before, right? You're trying to get everything a little bit softer and looser for washing. So, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this up. We're gonna get the wash going, and I'll let you see what it looks like when it comes out of the washer. All right, I thought I'd show you this right now. My buzzer's beeping, and actually it's down pretty well, but there it is. So that's just my cue to kind of make sure the wool is pushed down. And because it was wet, because I cold soaked it, it's not so hard. If I hadn't cold soaked it, I would be doing a lot more pushing, but because it's already wet, it's down there pretty well. And I think you can see, like, that's pretty clean water. We did a tremendous amount by cold soaking. And I have a couple more fleeces that are about the same age, which we're gonna make an effort. Holly, I'm inspired by your good keeping of your fleeces. So I'm just gonna pop the rest of that in there. And so Holly gets fleeces, washes them, and stores them properly right away, which is amazing. And in case you couldn't see, I want you just to see a little bit of that. That's the dirty water. And it was an entire bucket of dirty water like that before I dumped it. So cold soaking for the win. Okay, onward. All right, you all, I am getting crazier looking as the day goes on. It tends to happen in the mill, especially when it is a humid day, but our wool is washed and I'm freaking out because it is absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to lay it out and I'll get you all a little bit closer in so you can see what it looks like. And when we were off camera, I did come in and whoopsie, and I'm gonna order a new tripod before the next time I'm filming. Y'all can hold me to that. Okay, let's see this fleece. I did vacuum out the, look at how good it washed up beautifully, which is in part his fleece. When you see the dark chunks, that's just the brown in there. It just washed up, and that is, I'll be picking at it as I go along. Just the quality of fleece for sure, because ooh, I mean, I have to show you this. It's just stunning with a blackberry in there. I can't believe I didn't get. Anyway, all I will do now is lay it out to dry. Oh, and like I said, I did vacuum out because I had the mohair in here last time in the drying rack. I went ahead and vacuumed it out. I actually didn't turn the air on when I had the mohair in here so that the guard hairs wouldn't fly around through. But it is beautiful. I'm going to do one more for you and close up so you can really see how gorgeous this fleece is. And this fleece will go up. I may actually do it as a whole fleece. If it's over 2 pounds, maybe I'll do 2 pounds and then 2 pounds, and then the rest can be divided out. It may be 3 pounds. I would guess this is his year-long fleece that I have, and therefore it is. But you can see some of those lovely chunks of darker wool. It's just really, it has a luster to it. Look at these locks right here. And that's gorgeous, just gorgeous. So anyway, I will go ahead and finish laying this out. I will turn, I'm gonna pull you out so I can finish up here. I will turn not the dryer. We don't have a dryer. We're just using a fan. I'll turn the fan on and just let this baby dry out. And like I said, I think what I'm gonna do, because it is such an incredible fleece and it would make a lovely sweater, I will probably sell most of it out as a sweater quantity, and the rest of it, if there's extra, like over 2 pounds or so, I will go ahead and sell out some chunks of it. But oof, she's a beauty. Good job, Johnny. Okay, onward we shall go. All right, you all, we are at the picker with that beautiful, here it comes, Shetland. And this honestly is just an epic fleece. And we're gonna pick it out. I've already got most of it picked out. So this is Johnny Rose, what we just washed up. I'm gonna turn the picker on here, but I thought I would let you just watch me pick for a minute so you could see how lovely, I mean, these ringlets, and it's just a beautiful fleece. And I was just on with my Patreon, and after washing it the other day, I decided that because it's such a lovely fleece, I would probably sell it as a whole fleece rather than splitting it up into 4 ounces, which is what I do a lot of the time. That I'm just gonna let this one go as a whole fleece because it is sweater quantity worthy for sure. So my Patreon, that'll be in the next shop update, which is well, when you're watching this, it'll be this coming Sunday. So all paying levels of Patreon subscribers get access to the fiber sale, the updates, and the whole goal, my whole thought process was I would, Patreon would get updates, and then what was left over would go into the online shop. And I do set a small amount aside for mill days also, so that I have some for in-person shopping. But that was my plan. But patrons, they're awesome, and they buy all the fiber up, so nothing really makes its way onto the website anymore. So if you're interested in fiber, I do still put limits. I say £1.50 max per shop update, because that way the fiber can just go around a little bit more. Beautiful. Anyway, so if you're interested in some of the hand spinning fibers I make on here, don't forget Patreon is a great way to get access to getting some. And I do, hopefully you have, if you're new, you'll notice, or if you've been watching, I spend a lot of time making sure this fiber, oh my gosh, just this bundle right here, making sure that the fibers that I send out the door are lovely and easy to spin, especially for new hand spinners. Fiber prep can make all the difference between crying and not crying when you're learning. So anyway, okay, let me take you over so you can see this fluff coming out. I'm on a new tripod, so it's not quite as saucy as my other one is at the it's at the doctor, which means it's in Mitch's shop. There we go. So there is the fiber. Ooh. Turn this a little bit. There is the fiber coming out. And I'm going to go ahead and finish picking, and then I'll let you see what this beautiful fluff looks like. But it has picked out perfectly. It is so fluffy. It's not getting caught up anywhere. It's going to be just a gorgeous sweater for somebody one day. Okay, I'll be back in a minute. All right, here we go with this beauty. And just don't have enough nice things to say about this fleece. I have, like I've mentioned, I've saved a couple of Johnny's fleeces, his first 2 fleeces. I saved, my plan is to blend them with Pygora, our goat cuddlebug, and I mean, it picked out beautifully, did not get stuck in the picker at all, just opened up, had great separation. So I am thrilled with this fleece, and I think somebody is going to be very excited when they are able to grab it up. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this out. I'll hold it up to the camera here so you can see what it looks like. It has pretty low VM, which is nice too. But there it is, all picked out. I'll condition it, and then we'll head to the carder. All right, you all, as promised, we are here with Johnny Rose's fleece, that Shetland fleece. And the nice thing about this tripod is that it is, I can actually make it low, but it's not the most. Let's see if you can see from a different angle here. There's my webbing coming off. I've already got my fiber, or my little notch pulled through here. So I'm just attaching the fiber to the roving deck, and then we're gonna get this rolling, and so far so good. I think it's gonna be carding up beautifully. We still have that beautiful humidity, and so let's see what she does. Let me see if you guys can see what just happened under here, and you'll have kind of a view, a different view, I think. How that comes together. You can see that I'm going to pull you out because there's not much else to see under there now, but here's our fiber coming out. It's gonna be luscious. Let me get this set up, and then we'll go look at the other end. All right, so here we are on the other end with Johnny Rose going, and it's carding up could not be happier with how it's carding as I'm looking up at it coming through the rollers on the carder. And so I'm just laying it out as I usually do. I weigh out per feed how much is going in so that we get a nice even roving, making it nice and easy to spin. If you are a newer spinner and you feel like you just are struggling with overspun or other issues drafting, it could be the fiber prep that you're using. Sometimes if you're using top or you're using a fiber that just didn't process well or is a little bit felted just through the process, that can be a make or break situation in your spinning. So step back and don't give up. All right, let's take a peek in here. I'm gonna take you off the tripod now. And we'll go take a peek inside the machine. So it's gonna be, it's super light fawn. Like it'll be the lightest oatmeal roving. There we are inside. I'm really happy with how it's carding up. And this is for sure his 6-month fleece. This is his fall of 2024 fleece. So it was only 6 months. I did a year one time, and some of the older sheep I do a year with now, but the younger sheep I just have to do every 6 months because they are still pumping out so much wool. Ooh, this is gonna be a beautiful sweater or big project one day for the lucky person that grabs this up. Okay, onward. All right, you all, I'm not sure if you're ready for this. Oh my goodness. So I am doing 100% alpaca. And I don't do this very often. It's been a while, not for any reason other than for a while I just had a hard time sourcing the alpaca that I wanted. And now I don't know why, I just don't think about it. But this is gonna be 100% alpaca blend. Just all different, well, it's mainly this gray fleece here. But I did throw in, just to bulk it up a little bit, some smaller bags of really nice alpaca that I had in like a darker gray and a really dark fawn, like this kind of really red. So just to get a little more quantity. And the humidity was really good today. It's like almost 70% humidity in the building. I don't know how many more days we'll get like that before summer, so I thought, let's do it. And we have a Patreon sale this weekend, online fiber sale. And I want to have as much fiber as I can for them because it goes fast, even over on Patreon. So, yeah, so that's what we're doing here. And I'm just kind of blending it up at the picker, letting it do its thing. I will take you over to the other side and you can see it coming out. And it's gorgeous. Like this is some gorgeous alpaca. And here it is. And as soon as I'm done here, I'll go ahead and open it up and you can see, but I'm having like, nothing's getting stuck to the back wall, which is always my humidity gauge. And it's trying to go everywhere. You can see at the top here. It's floofing to the top, but we're doing good. All right, let's open this beauty up. It's gonna be falling from the sky. And whew, picked out beautifully. It's hanging from the rafters here. Let me get a close up for you all. And this I am going to condition pretty well, even though our humidity is good, but I'm going to condition it well. And then it'll head to the carder. It'll be next up in line for the carder. And I'm just going to take some of this off and you can see how pretty it is. I mean, I'm not going to complain on days like this, especially when I get to stick my hands in this. And I'm just floofing it up so it kind of blends up a little bit more, but oh my goodness, this is going to be lovely. And if you haven't spun 100% alpaca, if you're brand new, I would maybe steer clear from it for a while. But if you have been spinning for a while, you're going to be fine spinning alpaca. And it is truly a pleasurable experience once you are a little bit more comfortable with your spinning. So, and this is a truly, look at that. Oh, it's gonna be good stuff. Okay, I'm gonna condition this. And for everybody watching that doesn't know, I do have a recipe on my blog for conditioning wool and fibers at home. So you can go to the show notes and there is a link straight to that, that article. Okay, see you at the carder. All right, you all, we are at the carder with the 100% alpaca, and it is carding up beautifully. This is the very last of it, so I'm just gonna lay this bit out, and then we can go over and take a look at the other side of the carder where the roving is coming out. It's carding up exquisitely. Which I expected as much, but we also are having just perfect weather for carding alpaca. It's nice and humid, so I wanted to get this done. I just was mixing up a little batch of black. Get it done while we still have this weather, because we do have some drier weather coming our way again. So here it is on the carder. Oh, you all, it really does look as good and feel as good as that. So here it is coming off. Can you believe that? I spun a tiny bit of it. It's gorgeous, just gorgeous. So this, by the time this makes it to YouTube, probably this will all be gone, other than maybe if you're coming to mill day, there may be some, but next mill day is the last weekend of June. We're open a Friday and a Saturday, which is exciting. So because Black Sheep Gathering is happening the same weekend, and we're just about 30 miles south. So fun time to knock both out. Okay, let's take a quick peek inside the carder. Here's the last of it getting carded in. Let's open it up. Here it is, really doing a beautiful job. Okay, onward we shall go. All right, I don't have my microphone, so hopefully I can get this to turn up well, the volume. But what we are working on today is Alexis Rose, our white Shetland. She's got a beautiful fleece. It washed up beautifully. I cold soaked it first and then washed it, and it turned out great. And it's about her like 8 month or so shearing. Not like age, but how often I did it. So it's not a full year. And then over here we have got, at the top is dyed mohair locks. At the bottom is dyed silk. So kind of opposite in colors. I mean, somehow I managed to have some light green and some light, anyway, you get the idea. So we are going to do some picking, and no rhyme or reason to this as far as, you know, how much when. But I'm just kind of layering. I'm going to layer on a bit of mohair out here and a little bit of silk on top of it. And silk is very light, so there's always a ton of silk versus like the mohair that is a lot heavier. So it seems like I'm always having to add more silk. And then when I get to the end, you know, I'll blend it up, and then the carder blends it more. So we've got that on, and then we're going to load up some Shetland. And this is about 10% mohair and about 10%. We're going to turn the machine on. So it's about 10% mohair and about 10% silk to the Shetland by weight, that is. So I weigh out the Shetland, and then I come up and then I weigh out about 10% of that in the other product. And that's kind of how you do blending when it comes to fibers. I'm not going to talk too much because you're not going to hear it that well anyway. I might move you over here. And again, by the time this airs, this fiber will likely be sold for the most part, unless there's some left that I left out for the next shop days, which I probably will. unless I run away with it. These are kind of colors that I love. I hope you can hear me all right, but if not, you can still see what's happening. And you know, at home, this is how you would do your picking. It's kind of what I'm just opening it up even more to make the picker's job a little bit easier, especially with mohair locks. And even the silk, the way I dye it up, if I leave it too, some chunk we'll take out. If I leave it too compacted, the picker's not going to be able to open it. It'll just go right through the teeth in the picker. So, but if you were doing this at home, you could just be, you know, opening up your fibers and then literally like blending them by hand. Of course, a hand parter or a blending board. All of that would do the same thing. So let me go ahead and I'm going to finish this and I'll show you what it looks like at the end here. And then, of course, we go to the parter. Ooh, we're just going to catch the end of it. I forgot to get a video of it coming out. Here it goes. Flying out into the shower. Last little bit. There is some of it. And then gonna have you off the tripod because I have some that is going on the carder right away. Let me get it out so you can see it. There we go. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So off to the carder we shall go. All right, you all, I forgot my microphone again, so we're just gonna show this as it's going into the carder. This is that Shetland silk and mohair. It is so pretty. So let's go over and watch it for a sec. Do our usual, right? Hopefully it doesn't pop down the end. So here we are going through, getting carded up. And let's take a peek down the end here. Okay, I hope that makes your heart sing as much as it does mine. There it is. And of course it's not quite giving off the perfect color, but I think you get the idea. And it's going to kind of have pops of like more blue or more green in different spots, but it is so pretty. We're going to spin a little bit of it. All right, everyone, we are at the Lendrum single treadle, and I was just going to do a little sample spinning on this Shetland mohair and silk, which was the last thing that we carded up in this episode. I'm just getting the yarn wrapped through the orifice hook so we can do a little spin. I spun a little bit of this right when it came off the carder because I couldn't help myself and was so excited. So I'm going to spin this short forward, and here's why. One, I think it will highlight, I want a really nice crisp yarn, and I think, I'm just gonna move you all back just a smidge. And I think that, around the leg there. Okay, I think that short forward is going to make just a nice crisp yarn. And also this fiber is a little bit of different lengths. So I find that it's easier to get a consistent yarn when you have different fiber lengths. So as you saw, the Shetland, and there was the mohair, and then there was Tussa silk. And so those are all a little bit of different lengths. I do try when I am blending to have fibers in the same general length, you know, like maybe within an inch of each other is ideal, but that doesn't always work out. And definitely that Tussa silk was shorter than that mohair. So I find it easier to get a consistent yarn when you're spinning fibers that are different lengths in the same spin. I find it's easier just to get consistency with short forward. So that's what I'm doing here. And this is spinning up. Sorry, I just hit the camera there, but it's spinning up very easily. And I just love, I'll show you in a minute, this spun yarn. So because the color of it is just beautiful once it compresses into yarn. The saturation is even more gorgeous. And it's just a nice spin. It, of course, would spin into a lovely thin yarn. You could do whatever you want with it. And you can also, of course, spin it short forward. However you want to spin it is however you want to spin it. That's the joy of spinning your own yarn. You can do whatever. And I just have my hands nice and light so that fibers can easily be drafted. If you are gripping at fibers, either with your front hand or your backhand, you're gonna be fighting more. So, but especially that backhand, because you need the fibers to be able to slip through your fingers. Otherwise, you're going to get really frustrated and have fibers caught up on each other. So, okay, let's stop and take a peek and see what this looks like all saturated up. I'm just in love with how it looks when it is, and hopefully it's good enough light that you can see how lovely that is. It saturates up into such a bright, happy color, and it would look good with just about, you know, with browns, with that gold that's on there, with grays. It's just gonna look really pretty. As orders were going out the door with it, I was like, ooh, that would be pretty, and that would be pretty. And I thought I'd just show you, here's a little sample that I did a ply back on with it, so you can get a nice idea of that color there. Ply backs are never the most, I would not trust a ply back for a swatch sample or anything, but it's nice to get an idea of if you have enough twist or not. And I thought I would just hold up this little bit. This is the alpaca, 100% alpaca that I spun just a little sample of and did a ply back on. I mean, together, these colors are pretty amazing. Let me hold them side by side. Ooh la la. Okay, I'm gonna switch the camera around and show you a couple things I've been working on and go from there. Okay, it's me again. Hey everyone, and I'm only going to wear this for a few minutes here because it's warm, but I have a finished object. So this is my Breakwater beach vest. I have been working on this for longer than I would like to admit, and it's done, except that I have not blocked out the collar yet. And the collar should sit really loose. So I am going to either steam it or soak it, and then it'll be done. So in theory, just pretend like it's kind of like hanging more than it is tight around my neck. I actually haven't blocked out the edging on the sleeves either, but here it is done. I'm gonna stand up for you, scoot back a little bit and stand up so you can see all of its glory. I am so happy with how this turned out. It fits really well. The cabling turned out really well. I used Ewetopia, their Sustainawool DK is what I used in this, and I am so thrilled with it. And of course, it's now basically almost summer, and I won't be able to probably wear this for a while, but I wanted to show it all to you as a finished object, which is exciting. And I'm gonna go ahead and do a quick change because I have another finished object. Okay, so, it's a little warm. It gets extra toasty in this building, so I had to get that off pretty quick before I started having a heat panic attack. Anyway, it's beautiful. Did I have it on right? I may have had it on backwards. I can't remember. But the front seam or the front ribbing is a little bit shorter than the back on the bottom there. I think the only modifications I would have made to this is maybe making it a little smidge longer. I tend to make things longer because I am a taller person, so I tend to add an extra inch or so to everything that I am making. But otherwise, it turned out beautifully, and I'm so happy with it. I'm just gonna go ahead and block this, but you can see how much room. Oh, look, there's a tiny home passing by. How much room I have, that I will try to block this out as much as possible so that it kind of hangs a little bit differently. But it was a well-written pattern. I didn't have any issues with it, and I am happy to have it done. Okay, what I'm wearing is my next finished object, you all, and I'm gonna stand up and show you. So this is sewn, not knitted, obviously, and hopefully we'll be able to, let me push myself back so you can see it. But this is dress number 1 by 100 Acts of Sewing, and I did this all by myself. For those of you that have been watching for a little bit, I am just learning to sew and focusing on apparel so that I can wear more things that I have made. I'm gonna walk up so you can see the fabric because it fits so well with me. It's little hens and there's some chicks and flowers and different, it's really cute. So, like I said, this is the first thing I have done just like on my own. I'm gonna read the pattern and be successful and do this. And are there mistakes? Yes. Do I love it? Yes. And this is my inaugural wear today because it was gonna be 80 degrees. And here we are. And I'm so happy with this dress. I'm so proud. And I actually wore it. I ran around and did a couple things. I'm gonna sit back down and got my first compliment on it. Somebody said, oh my gosh, your dress is so cute. It's so springy. And I was like, thanks, I made it. I mean, you all know, if you're any type of crafter, when you get to say, thank you, I made it myself, it just like blows people's minds. So this is my first sewn item that I got to blow somebody's mind with, and I love it. So the pattern was great. I did do a lot of YouTubing for sure. Learning how to make bias tape was a new thing. Learning how to attach bias tape, just like there were really good directions, but if you don't know how to do something or the purpose of it, then it's hard to even wrap your head around how does it sit on the fabric? How am I attaching it exactly? So I think the bias tape was a big thing, and that's what is running along the inside of here. I made the bias tape, I attached it, did all that stuff. You can buy bias tape already made, but this was using the same fabric that the dress is made in. Attaching pockets I had never done. I'm not sure they're 100% perfect, but it's good. Yeah, it was a learning experience, and it was not the fastest thing, especially because my machine broke in the middle of it, but we're here. And my next project is going to be a top, and it actually is the pajama top that goes with the pajama bottoms that I made. And I did buy a nice cotton fabric that I thought would make it, I'm not a big pajama person, so I thought it would be a top I could wear a little more versatile, even if it's just around the house, because I also didn't think I'd ever wear these pajama bottoms, and I wear them like relentlessly all the time. I mean, they're super nice, lightweight cotton, and also I made them. And so I am very excited to wear them. So anyway, moving on to the next project, and I will be taking an online course for it, and I will certainly keep you up to date on how it goes. So I love online courses. Don't forget, if you are interested in learning to spin, I have a Learn to Hand Spin Yarn on a Spinning Wheel online course. You can purchase it and start anytime. If you've got a wheel and you're ready to learn, just head to my website. It's a great course. So, and online courses are amazing. Okay, I have one more thing to show you, and then we're going to talk very quickly. It will get a little political. So if you're not here for any politics, what a wonderful world you live in. If you're in the US, I should say, and you are not paying attention to what's going on here, that's a different place to be. That's a different place to be. I don't know what that's like, but I've had a lot of comments on why are you mixing crafts and politics? And the reason is because I believe we need to speak up. And we need to not normalize what is happening in this country. And if we all stay silent, then that's basically giving an affirmation of what's going on here. So I don't believe we can do that. And you are welcome to comment below with anything, but keep in mind, if it isn't a well thought out response, then it's probably going to get deleted. Or if it's a response meant to incite conflict, it's probably not going to stay, because that's not what the point of this is. It's not to sit and fight in comments. It's just to voice and speak up and give a place for others to speak up that are feeling frustrated, sad, desperate, all of those things. So thank you for staying with me if you choose to. I have one more knitting thing to show you, and then we'll wrap it up pretty quick. Okay, first off, my friend made this adorable bag for me. Isn't it cute, Elisa? Thank you. Okay, so I don't watch a lot of YouTube because I just don't have a lot of time, basically, but I do occasionally catch It Is a Sarah. She is on YouTube. She does a lot of knitting and making. And one of the things that she was showing was the Cotton Rabbits pattern that she did a bunch of these little rabbits. I have never knit a stuffed animal before, but I did sort of fall in love with these rabbits when she was showing them. So here's the beginning of my rabbit. So here's what happened. See this ear? Bigger? And I was like, oh no, should I start over? This is being made for one of my nieces whose birthday is next month, and I have not been knitting well as an aunt, and it's time. So I decided this would be cute because you can also knit, you know, it's 9 inches when it's done. I will put a link to the pattern and in the show notes. And then you can buy a pattern that has different dresses, different pants, different tops, so that you could keep knitting things for whoever is the recipient, or it may be you. And so I thought this is cute because then my sister could knit some dresses if she wants to for the rabbit. I can keep, like, once a year, make a new dress or whatever. The ear, I don't know which one I knit too many rows on or too little rows on, but the second ear much bigger. And I thought, you know what? We're leaving it because we're not all perfect. And it is okay for this little stuffy to not be perfect. Our ears often don't match. So anyway, I finished it. Isn't it amazing how much it already looks like a rat? Like, I was really impressed. Even just by seaming the head up, I was like, oh, this already is starting to look like a rabbit. And then you put the ears on and it's game over. The directions are really, really, really detailed and wonderful. And the next thing to do, I actually started on the body, but I need to embroider. And there's even directions on, like, literally like the embroidery for the nose and the mouth and everything. Everything is super detailed. So it's a great pattern, especially if you're like me and you have not done a stuffy before. And I'm just using wool. I'm just using wool that I am not going to card here because it's one way or another considered waste wool to me. So I'm just using wool to stuff it. The yarn I'm using, you can see, is basically a Let Lopi. That's what she used on It Is a Sarah. I really liked the idea of it. And that's what I'm using here. The only time you run into, like, really needing to be a little bit more cautious with it is when you're doing a lot of the seaming and stuff, that you want to be careful not to just break the yarn. But I think it's turning out really well. It is supposed to be, the pattern is for cotton, but I just finished a cotton project and I'm not working with cotton again for a little bit. So that's what we're doing. And it would also be a great thing to do with handspun, because just the ears and the head, it was less than 12 grams for that. So it doesn't take much. Then you've got to do the body, 2 arms, 2 legs. And so it's not, I mean, it's probably going to be like 40 grams of yarn. So, yay, that's what I'm excited about. Okay. I'm going to put myself back at the wheel because somebody in a recent episode said, just keep spinning and talking, you know, speaking up, because that is what women did, right? That's what women have been doing since the beginning of time, is sitting together and making and crafting, oftentimes not in a way that is such privilege that we get to do it now, but that was like a place to socialize, talk, and work through things. So just a sec. Okay, also for many of us, right, this making is a form of relaxation. It's sort of a way to get away from all of the things, which I realize is why people are upset that I am talking politics on here, but I feel that I need to and I have to as part of my responsibility as an American. And also, it's a reminder that this is a free platform. Everybody's watching this for free to some extent. There are certainly costs, but anyway, I just wanted to touch on this week. There's so many things I could touch on. And because it came into my well-being yesterday, I actually went to the doctor because this is my first time at the doctor since turning 50. So it was like the big 5-0 doctor appointment. And what I was greeted with when I walked in, and you know, most of you have, when you've gone to the doctor over the last couple of years, there's a sign up that says, you know, like, do you have any of the symptoms of COVID? And they'll, you know, for a while it was like, we're taking your temperature, we're doing all these things. Then it's kind of obviously gotten downgraded, but still, like, the idea being, if you are sick, and especially if you have COVID, please don't come in here, right? Well, I sat down at the doctor to check in, and there was a sign up, and you know what? It was not for COVID, it was for measles. Because of the measles outbreak, there was a sign up making sure that we didn't have, and they asked us when we checked in, do you have any of the signs that are up here that you may have measles? And I thought, it actually sort of floored me, because of course we're hearing about measles in Texas, and I think it's New Mexico where they've had a lot of cases. But when I looked it up after I got home, there are a lot of states that have cases, and on the list, when I was and I'm in Oregon, on the list, it said Washington has had cases now so far this year. So, you know, I think my frustration, and I will say that, like, I went in, and this isn't like a you should get vaccinated or shouldn't, you know, that really is up to you. But what I will say is that measles, I think it came about in the early 1900s is when measles became a big problem. And it wasn't until the 1960s that the measles vaccine came into existence. And it took until the year 2000 for measles to be eradicated in the United States. So over 30 years of vaccinating people, and we got to a point where people were not getting measles anymore. And then it started popping up in around the 2015 or so, which oddly enough is a time when social media started really getting big. Like, social media has been around for a while, but I think that's when it really got big, where more people my age and older and younger were really getting on it. The algorithms were getting better, and so more misinformation is getting put out there. And it sounds like that's just like the beginning of when vaccine hesitancy sort of started. And then with COVID, things got a little more intense with vaccines. So the unfortunate part is taking away vaccines or sending misinformation out about vaccines does not make America great again. And we all know that this isn't what Make America Great is about. But taking away vaccines, sending false information out, taking away the research is not going to help this country. Because one of the things that we have, and it's one of the reasons that humans are living so long, is because we have vaccines and ways to eradicate large viruses when they come through. So I will say that I went in and I had my shingles shot, and I was incredibly grateful. And I had my pneumonia shot, and also incredibly grateful. And these are the things that are keeping us alive longer. And yes, there's going to be side effects and there's going to be problems, and it is up to you to decide. But there's so much research and science behind so many of these vaccines, and especially the measles vaccine, that it's just incredibly disheartening to see this happen, because it's not going to make us great. It's definitely not going to make us great to have a worse healthcare system. And if a big emergency happens in the health world, I don't know if we're going to be ready for it. So just take care of yourself, you all, and keep speaking up and keep doing the research and making the right decisions for you, and staying educated on everything that is going on in this country, because it is rough right now, and it's really rough. And make sure you sit down and make time to do this, to do some making, to bring joy, to talk to other people that bring you joy, and spend time with them. So there's the soapbox for this week. It was disheartening, to say the least, to see that sign up in the doctor's office. So be careful, everybody. So on that note, right, stay healthy until next week. Stay healthy. Be kind to everybody around you, because you don't know what everybody's story is, and we are getting nowhere by being divided. So try as best we can to unite and to move forward. And of course, until next week, make so many pretty things. Sit down, make a rabbit, spin, knit, do whatever it is that brings you joy, and make all the pretty things and love and enjoy them. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. You can check out my Patreon community. And until next week, take care. Thank you.